that a lot of people haven't really been following the Gold Cup in soccer. Obviously, the Euros just took place. The Copa America just took place in South America. One of the second biggest soccer tournament in the world. Obviously, the World Cup is the biggest one. And so the U.S. is playing in the CONCACAF Gold Cup right now. They actually just beat Canada yesterday 1-0 to win the Group B stage. Now they've just advanced the knockout round. They'll play the loser between Costa Rica and Jamaica. And the impressive thing to me, again, they won all 3 matches in their Group B stage. They just beat Canada. They beat Haiti in their opener, 1-0. They beat Martinique 6-1 in their second round matchup. But to me, this is what's impressive. And by the way, against Canada actually dominated possession in this game. They had more scoring opportunities. They had more chances for them. But Shaq Moore scored in the first 20 seconds of the game, and the U.S. never looked back. But both teams obviously were assured of advancing, so that is what it is. And that goal was actually the fastest goal scored in Gold Cup and U.S. men's national team history. Clint Dempsey scored in the first 30 seconds of the 2014 World Cup against Ghana. He scored in the first 30 seconds. That was the next closest, but Shaq Moore eclipsed that mark. But the Americans, this is what's impressive. Not only have they won 13 straight games in CONCACAF, but we remember where this U.S. team was just 2 years ago, with an opportunity to qualify for the for the World Cup in Russia in 2018. All they needed was a draw against Trinidad and Tobago to qualify for the World Cup, and they couldn't do it. And it was probably one of the most demoralizing, disgraceful, shameful, embarrassing, humiliating performances that we could have seen from a U.S. men's national soccer team. That was literally rock bottom for the U.S. men's national soccer team. We were a laughingstock to the world. The perception of the U.S. men's national soccer team was that we were awful because we lost to Trinidad and Tobago. And that's the narrative that was circulating for the last 2 years, was how would the psyche of this team, how would the makeup of this team respond to that embarrassment 2 years ago in their first opportunity to avenge that this year. And the characteristic that always seemed to be missing from the U.S. men's national soccer team is passion, was care, investment. Do you truly buy in to the national team? Do you care enough about the U.S. men's national team that you are going to invest resources, that the players that you're going to train, that you're going to develop, that you're going to bring into this program, will they actually care and buy in and want to win? That intangible and that desperation is what was missing. You look at some of the other teams in the world, other countries, what makes them so good is that they invest all their resources into their soccer team. The U.S. is like a trove of athletes. They have a trove of athletes. We have an embarrassment of riches and many options for athletes to choose from. You can play in the NBA. You can play in the MLB. You can play in the NFL, the PGA Tour. Doesn't matter, the NHL. In some of these other countries, like Argentina, like Brazil, like Denmark, like France, like Portugal, like England, soccer is their culture. Soccer is their life. Soccer is their religion. Soccer is their ideology. That's what resonates with them. And so they invest and they pour in all these resources to ensuring that the one sport that they can compete in is soccer. And the U.S. has the resources. They just didn't dedicate enough to that specific sport. And so we saw the huge disparity. Because again, just the profusion of talent that we've got at our disposal in the U.S., it's a luxury. It's a luxury that we haven't taken advantage of. And so now when I finally watch this team, and again, this was without Christian Pulisic and Weston McKennie, who are two of the leaders of the national team. They were not playing in the Gold Cup. But when I was watching this team play for the first time in years, I finally saw the passion. I finally saw the joy, the togetherness, the camaraderie amongst the guys. The guys genuinely seemed joyful playing with one another. And that was something that was missing. That joy was something that seemed to be absent of previous U.S. men's national soccer teams. And it's not a knock on them. I love some of the guys that we used to have. The Tim Howards, the Landon Donovans, the Clint Dempseys, the Michael Bradleys, the John Brooks of the world. I loved those guys. But the Josie Altidores, I love those guys. They are a hallmark name in U.S. men's soccer history. They absolutely left an indelible mark, had an incredible run with the U.S. men's national team. But I'm liking some of the guys that I'm starting to see now. Daryl Dike is starting to play extremely well. Obviously, Jazzy Zardes, Sebastian Leggett, Kellen Acosta. I mean, Shaq Moore, obviously, who had an impact. These guys have energy. These guys have passion. They've got athleticism out on the field. It doesn't seem like when we watch the U.S. men's national team that we don't have the athletes, we don't have the horses, we don't have the stallions to go out and compete. Now it seems like we do, and you throw in Christian Pulisic and Weston McKennie back into the fold in 2 years from now when they actually play for the team. I like the direction that they're going. I like the job right now that they're all doing. I forget the manager's name. Greg Berhalter, I believe, took over for the former, I think it was a German manager that used to be the head of the U.S. men's soccer team. I like the direction and just the approach to the game. And again, it's very small sample size. We'll see how they do against Costa Rica or Jamaica. Hopefully they can win those matches. But again, I just like what I'm seeing right now out of this U.S. men's soccer team. And I think that the talent level is finally starting to get on par with some of those other countries. That's something that couldn't be said before. And finally, we get a chance to see that.